y'all doing? This is the story of a group of people who came together to form a sports apparel company. The first step in their journey is to identify the initial decision problem. In this case, is to decide whether or not it is cost effective for them to process further their shoes or their jerseys. The second step is to look at the alternatives of that decision, which is basically their options. The third step is to evaluate the costs and benefits of each one. The fourth step would be for them to make a decision on whether or not to process further the shoes or the jerseys. And the last step would be to look at those numbers and see if it was the right decision to make. Guys, come on in. Thanks for coming and meeting with me today, guys. Appreciate it.
How are you doing today?
Jason, good to see you.
What's going on, Sean?
Giovanni, good to see you. Yeah, guys, take a seat. Take a seat. All right, so I brought you guys here today because I know that after we did that managerial accounting group project back in college, that you guys would be the right fit for this business venture idea that I have.
Man, I remember that project, and that was a long time ago. Those were good times, man.
So what do you have in mind for this venture?
All right, here it is. I was thinking we could start a sports apparel store, all right? We could sell jerseys, and we could sell shoes, and we could, just sell them to teams. And just be like the next big sports apparel.
That's a good idea. I like your thinking.
Yeah, I like it. What should we call ourselves?
We call ourselves VJags, each letter for our name.
It's pretty good. That's perfect. I knew you guys would like this. Our biggest decision will be to see whether it's cost effective to just produce a standard jersey or a standard shoe. But if we want, we can maybe customize things and make them a little fancier, a little more designs. And we just need to figure out if it would be cost effective to do something like that.
Yeah, I'm free.
Yeah, me too.
Well, that's a good idea. Let's do it.
Great. If you guys want to meet back here again tomorrow, then we can go over the numbers and crunch down and see how the logistics of everything works.
Yeah. All right, let's see you tomorrow.
Alright guys, so we need to figure out our decision alternatives in order to process further. I've done a little research on our direct materials cost for the jerseys. Our materials would consist of cotton, polyester, and threading. When I crunched all the numbers, I calculated that it cost about $5 per jersey.
Now don't forget, we need to include our direct labor cost in order to make the jerseys. It takes approximately 1 hour per person to make a jersey. And if we pay minimum wage, our direct labor cost would run $10.
That's a good point, or not, but we can't forget that both direct materials and direct labor are variable costs. So as our activity increases, our total cost will increase, but the per unit cost will remain the same.
Now don't forget about the manufacturing overhead costs either. That includes things like the rent, utilities, machine costs, and our salaries. These are fixed costs because they're going to remain the same in total regardless of the level of our activity. Our total manufacturing overhead cost for all of these will run about $25 per jersey.
Excellent work guys. So our total cost for each jersey will run us $40. Now if we look at the direct materials for our shoes, we include cost of laces, stitching, synthetic material, the soles, and color schemes. I estimate that our cost will run about $25 per shoe.
Our direct labor for the shoes is very similar to processing for our uniforms, except requires a little more time. We should be able to bring our direct labor cost per shoe to 10 a unit.
Our manufacturing overhead for the shoes will also be similar to the processing of our uniforms. The only difference being is the machines we use to make it. I estimate the cost to make one pair of shoes to be about $35.
So the direct materials is $25, the direct labor is $10, and the MOH is $35. That brings our total cost to $70 per the shoes.
Okay guys, so now that we have our cost of our jerseys and our shoes, we need to decide, is it good to just stick with that, or should we process them further and customize our shoes and customize our jerseys?
Well, once we figure out all the added cost for processing further, we will know our differential analysis. Since we will be focusing on the factors that will change or differ between the different decisions, we can also call this incremental difference.
Isn't differential analysis as well as incremental difference or cost known as relevant cost? Because only the costs that change or differ between the decision alternatives are relevant for decision making. I guess we could also call this our avoidable cost, because this is a cost that can be avoided based on whether we want to choose one decision or another.
Well, it wouldn't be an irrelevant cost because those costs wouldn't influence our decision. Either they've already been incurred or because they're further decision alternatives.
Well now, what's the difference between that and sunk costs?
Well, some cost is a cost that was incurred in the past. That's not relevant because they will not change based on a future design.
Okay, so for our added cost to process the uniform further, our direct material for the jersey will include everything we have on the standard uniforms, plus patches, new color, schemes, and printing, if they want specialized names or numbers on their jerseys. I estimate this would be an added cost of $5.
Now, if we look at our added cost for direct labor hours, we see a $5 increase per unit because it'll take a little more time and effort to design everything.
And since our manufacturing overhead is still a fixed cost, we won't see any change there when we process it further, bringing our total added cost per unit for the jersey to be $20 increase from what it was initially.
Plus, as long as we can try and keep our company at excess capacity, we will have more than enough resources to satisfy our demand, whether we go standard or custom. So, what about the shoes?
Well, our added cost for the shoes would be compromised with some of the materials before, as well as new materials like new coloring, design work, and even custom logos. This should run us an added direct materials cost of $25 per unit.
Our direct labor hours will also increase as an added cost when we process further because just like the jerseys, we're going to need a little extra time to add all the designs and colors to each shoe. This should run us about $15 per pair of shoes.
And lastly, our added cost for our manufacturing overhead once again remains the same. This will bring our added cost for shoes to $40 and our new cost for the shoes that we process further a total of $110. So what will be the incremental difference in profit for both the jersey and the shoes?
For our jersey, we have total initial cost of $40. If we decided to process them further, then we have our added cost of $60.
Well, now we decided to sell the standard jerseys for $80, giving our standard jerseys a net profit of $40. When we calculated our added cost, we got $60, and we want to sell our new customized jerseys for $130, giving us an incremental difference of profit of $70.
Now, when it comes to the shoes, we decided to sell the standards for $120. The original cost was $70, so we got a profit of $50. Now, when we customize them, we found that our new total cost would be $110. What are we going to sell them for?
Okay guys, I forgot to mention this. There is another business also selling customizable shoes. Their max price is $150 per shoe. So we're constrained on our selling price to sell anything above $150 if we want to be able to compete with them.
Alright, so if we sold for $150, that would bring our new profit for processing further to $40.
Okay, so in total for processing our jerseys, we would get an incremental difference in net profit of $30. And for the shoes, our difference would actually be 10 less in net profit.
Okay, so what's our final decision?
We are better off processing uniforms further because we would make a profit. Incremental revenue would increase by $30 per uniform processed. If we process the shoes further, we would experience a loss by a decrease in the incremental revenue by $10 per pair of shoes.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll put the uniforms in processing, and it will be the shoes how they are.
That sounds good to me.
All right, well, great work, guys. I think our business will be good to go and good.
Decide if it was worth processing further the jerseys or the shoes. And it looks like they came out with the jerseys. I think it was a good decision. Until next time.